What do you like to
Alright, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about my whole life. I'm going to give you every single example I could actually think of. No, I'm just kidding. I think like I only have 5 minutes to talk to you guys. Maybe I'll do it in 2 to 3 minutes. But like I'm going to sum it up. A quote by Inigo says, "Let me explain. No, it's too complicated. Let me sum it up." I agree with this quote. Sometimes we don't have enough time to talk about our whole life story, or perhaps maybe like talk about the Bible. You can't talk about it in 5 minutes. So today I will talk about it, my life. I'm gonna sum it up. I'm gonna sum up the Bible. You might get bored. You might be interested, and I'm gonna sum up this speech that I'm actually talking to you guys about right now. First, my life. I was born in Guatemala. I came when I was 11 years old. I'm 22 years old now, and I grew up in a Christian family. When I was 18 years old, I started partying. It was like completely different from my family, my family's values and beliefs. Now I'm 22 years old, and I feel like I'm trying to get closer to God, which brings me to my next point. If I try to talk to you guys about the Bible, I think in 4 minutes, it'll be way too long, and I wouldn't be able to do it. Obviously, you know, like the Bible is like more than 1,000 pages long. All I know is that God's love is pretty, is great for us, and without Him, like we'd be nothing. I can talk to you guys about experiences I have passed by. Faith is really important. His mercy, He's been great to me. He's been giving me showing me the way when I'm closer to Him. He's telling me, guiding me pretty much. It might not be for some of you. Like I said, it might be interesting for some of you as well. I believe that with this love, I'm able to do a lot of things, and so I pretty much summed up my life. I grew up in a Christian family. I became far from God, and now I'm trying to get closer to God again. And I've summed it up in 2 minutes, and I could have talked about my hockey, how I went to San Jose. Maybe summer of 2010, I played a hockey tournament. We lost in overtime, and pretty much summed it up in 2 minutes, which leads me to the speech I just did. I had 5 minutes to think about it. We all had 5 minutes. Whoever did the imprompt. There's so many things you can talk about, but there's only 5 minutes that you have to pretty much sum up what you're going to talk about in the speech. It's pretty it's pretty nerve-wracking. You standing up here and you feel nervous, you have anxiety kicking in. You don't know if you're making sense, but you have to do what you have to do. You have to talk about the three stories or 3 main topics that you're going to talk about in the speech. And in conclusion, sometimes we don't have a lot of time to talk about what we want to talk about, and sometimes we only have 5 minutes to come up with what we have to talk about, just like today. So my life and the Bible and this impromptu speech, it's easier to sum it up than to explain the whole story. So I agree with the quote that says, "Let me explain. No, it's complicated. Let me just sum it up." Bye, Amigo.
Want some Jim? Want cupcakes? Go with that?
I got you.
All right, at the beginning it sounds a little bit dramatic, but then when you introduce the quote, we kind of see where you're going and what your point of view is, and I thought that that was pretty clear. You set up a little bit of a structure for what you're going to be talking about, but you bounce back and forth between that structure pretty regularly, and as a result, it really feels like you are kind of wandering in the body of the speech instead of developing it and trying to make an eventual point and make it more meaningful. I'll tell you, at the end of the speech in the summary, I thought it was actually a lot clearer, and if you had not gone with a couple of extra stories that you tossed in at the end, like the hockey story, I don't know what the heck that's got to do with anything that you were talking about. That just felt a little bit out of context. If you'd kind of stuck with the summary that you had, I think that it would have been a little bit more effective. Your speech might have been shorter, but it would have been more to the point, and I think it would have left a better impression with the audience. Your delivery issues, your voice projects well, there's pretty good variety there. I didn't notice anything that was problematic there. There were a few hesitations early on, and like I said, it does feel sometimes like we're recycling through points here and there, and that's a little bit problematic. There's some good indicators. Your facial expressions are quite animated while you're speaking. I think that's good. I think you've got very solid eye contact with the audience. You don't always seem like you're engaging with the audience, but you are connecting with them, and I appreciated that. I didn't notice anything that was too problematic about your body movement or posture. Sometimes there's a little bit of shifting of the weight that looks mostly natural, but you do want to be careful about that. I did get the impression that you had a goal in your mind about how much time you were going to speak, and when you realized that you needed more time in order to get to that goal, that's when the extra stories and things started to pop in. And I think that it really feels extraneous or superfluous or extra when you do that sort of thing. As I said earlier, I think that the conclusion of the speech is you're on the right track there. There's actually a pretty good summary, and I like the fact that you come back to the quote as a way of reminding us the point that you're trying to make. The faith issue is perfectly fine, but it doesn't seem like you have much of a plan to how you're going to develop it, and as a result, it like I said, it just keeps popping up randomly instead of being something that you've consciously developed. And here's my end game on this particular issue that I'm talking about. All right, thank you.